Good evening. This is Kay Aubrey Shemaine, and tonight is our Always Shine Your Light Equine Energy Point Education Series webinar. I am the owner and director of Grand Adventures Ranch, a holistic equine wellness and rehab center in Sonoyta, Arizona. And tonight's topic is all about using and caring for light therapy wraps that we use for our horses. Now, light therapy wraps, the ones we're talking about here, are made by a company called Enlight Wellness. You may know them by BioScan wraps. The manufacturer is now Enlight Therapy, or Enlight Wellness. And they make three different types of wraps. They have a hock saver, a tendon saver, and an ankle saver, as well as the pole cap that you see up over this horse's head. And the wraps are all battery powered, which makes them very different than most wraps on the market that have to be plugged in. They're dual frequency neoprene wraps that can be used to easily provide light therapy treatment for horses, dogs, cats, husbands. They're amazingly versatile. And they really give a combination of flexibility and technology, which is pretty exciting. We've used them now for about 20 years. Light therapy wraps and pads have become a must-have. And why? Because veterinary bills are out of sight, and trying to do your own therapy is not always effective if you don't know what you're doing. And the beautiful thing about light is you cannot harm the animal, but you can really speed up healing and have amazingly effective healing results. Since the early 80s, light therapy has grown in popularity throughout the horse world and the human world. Studies have been done by everything from NASA to the Mayo Clinic on using light to heal the body. And they've been helping, the wraps and so on are now used by owners, racehorse trainers at all levels and all modalities to keep their horses in top shape. Beautiful thing about the wraps is that they give every horse owner access to light therapy without having to hire a vet, without having to purchase a $15,000 or $20,000 laser system, without even having to go to the level of our photopuncture classes. If you have anything from a bowed tendon to a ripped muscle to a tight horse to stocking up, the light therapy can be amazing. So light therapy wraps use two different wavelengths of light. One is red light, about 660 nanometers. You can see that in this tendon saver. That's what we call a tendon wrap. That red light is visible to the human eye. The other light that is involved is infrared, and it is a longer, slower wavelength that goes deeper into tissue and is not visible to the human eye. Now, the wraps work when by light being exposed, the photon packets of light being exposed to tissue, which NASA has shown increases cellular metabolism by up to 150%, greatly speeding up cellular repair, adding energy to cells that are low energy so that they can start to thrive and reproduce again. And both visible and infrared light have been proven to be beneficial in helping with pain relief, wound healing, muscular repair, circulation, ATP production, collagen repair, collagen production. So the mechanism of this is believed to be the absorption of the light by the tissue, and this causes a release of healing enzymes, and in particular nitric oxide, which is a very powerful vasodilator. The tissues and cells of the body absorb light at very specific wavelengths and not at others. And the key is using those two wavelengths. That's why we're using the red and the infrared. Okay? Visible red is absorbed by the skin layers very efficiently. And it's really great for things that are close to the skin, acupuncture points, trigger points, inflammation, shallow wounds, infections. Infrared it's a longer, slower wavelength. It goes deeper into the tissue and is used to treat bones, muscle, tendons. The combination of the two helps to trigger healing cascades way down into the body. Now the therapy wraps, and there's a variety of them here on this table. Some are still available, some aren't. But these wraps are designed to be used for years and years and years. And they're very durable if they're cared for properly. Some of these on this table, I know I personally have done many hundreds of sessions with them. So they've lasted well. But there's ways to keep them lasting well. And one is always keep them in a carrying case so they don't get smushed. Store them flat. Of course, never leave a horse unattended wearing them. They're not cheap. Keep them clean and dry. Use fresh batteries. And remove the batteries if storing for more than 90 days. And we'll go over a couple of those again. When you're applying the wraps, when you're putting them on the horse, you want to have the battery box on the outside of the legs. If not, the horse may knock their knees together. We had this happen this week. We only had a left tendon saver and it went on the right leg, and this mare was very knock-kneed and she knocked against it and pulled the little battery box off the Velcro. It's no big deal. It went right back on. Luckily it was fine, but they're more upset if, they get upset if they feel things like that. When you put it on, don't put it on too tight. You want it to be snug, but not so much that you're going to leave little dimples in the skin from the LEDs, and not too loose. You don't want them slipping. So the light can be up against the skin, but it does not have to be super tight. But they should not move when they're put on. And we put them on just with Velcro that hooks itself to the outside of the neoprene, kind of a fuzzy covering. It's really important to protect your wraps from grime and gook. Okay, dirt, mud, blood, all of those things are not friends. When they work themselves in around the light diodes down into the neoprene, they can erode the neoprene pretty quickly. So as you can see here, this was a mare with a horrible wound in her neck. It did a lot of draining. So when we treated her every day, we wrapped two different tendon wraps. We put them together, chained them around so that they'd wrap around most of her neck, and then we put them in a clear or translucent plastic garbage bag. At the end of the session, we just took off the garbage bag and threw it away, and the tendon wraps stayed nice and clean. Be creative but safe in how you use them on a horse. If you need to put them on the belly or the stifle or a place that doesn't really lend itself to just using a Velcro strap, I love polo wraps. Polo wraps wrap around the body in all sorts of ways. Our travel kit has polo wraps and hard to find diaper pins for connecting anything on the body anywhere. And if I get the polo wrap dirty, muddy, bloody, it just goes in the washing machine and it's fine. So a therapy session is for up to 20 minutes, okay? You can do it 30, the wrap is going to turn itself off at about 20 to 30 minutes in. 20 minutes provides the amount of light packets or joules per square centimeter that NASA recommends for best tissue absorption and healing, okay? And if you do it, if you have a really bad wound or really necrotic tissue, twice a day is best. With horses like bowed tendons, fresh bows and rips and tears in muscle, if you can do once a day, awesome. If you can do twice a day, that's optimal. But some days the horse may be done at 3 minutes, or they may not want you to come in near them, and the next day they meet you at the gate. Listen to your horse. They know what they can handle. And when not to use a therapy wrap, or light in general. Never use it on the thyroid gland, supposedly. Though I got to tell you, that mare that you saw the picture of, her thyroid gland was sticking right out. We had this ginormous hole in her neck. We put them right over it. We had no problems at all. But it is recommended by the medical community not to use light on the thyroid gland. Don't use it on any tumors unless a veterinarian says so. It will stimulate cellular reproduction and can supposedly stimulate tumors to grow faster. That would not keep me from putting it in an area if I, didn't know tumors were there, but oh my God, there might be. I'm not going to worry about it. And then also use caution if you're giving photosensitive drugs like tetracycline. That can cause some blistering of an area. It can cause the body to be more reactive to the light. It's a really good idea to use a good storage case. Something like this top case, if you buy the complete set of therapy wraps right now, the offer is they throw in one of these beautiful big heavy cases. But they are heavy. And we have more wraps than will fit in that case. So we use just a soft-sided cooler that you get. We got them at Costco or some Lowe's, and we stack them in there. They can be stored in there flat instead of folded, but you can put many layers on top of each other. They're not very heavy, so it's not going to damage them. We just don't want to leave folds where we have wires, because over time that could bend or break the wires. All right. If you do get dirty wraps, use a non-toxic gentle cleaner. I like Clean and Green, but anything that you know is safe enough that you would drink it won't harm the neoprene. You can also use different tire cleaners, things like that. On the outside, the plush side, you want to use a short, stiff brush, not metal, but stiff horse brush will take off hair and lint and other junk that gets caught in there. And you can use a toothbrush or a stiff brush to pull it out of the Velcro straps as well. And one of your best investments is to hit Costco and buy the big packs of batteries. And some of the wraps, depending on how old your systems are, some are going to have AA's, some are going to have 9 volts, but have enough batteries on hand so that if you start using them and you notice that your lights are a little dim, just put in fresh batteries. It's really quick and easy. And never store your wraps. If they're going to be sitting somewhere for 3, 4, 5 months or more, take the batteries out so that if the batteries start to corrode, if you're in a damp climate or you were, the horses were sweaty even though they're supposed to be watertight battery cases, if they get too much dampness, those batteries will corrode. They'll ruin the power supply, and that's it. You've just lost your wrap. And what may be your very best thing, never lend your wraps to anyone. I can't tell you how many wraps I don't remember where they are. Like today when I didn't have my left hawk wrap. I don't take my own advice very well, but lending them out to someone else is a great way to get back diodes that don't work, dirty, broken, or just never seeing them again because all of a sudden they've fallen in love with them. So that is our advice on light therapy wraps and caring for the wraps. And I'm going to open it back up to the audience. Hold on just a second. Okay, everybody. Any feedback? Oh boy. Oh, we had that horrible echo the whole time? Oh my word. Hold on. Let's try that again. Do we still have an echo? Sorry about that. Do we still have an echo, everybody?
No, we're good.
Oh, much better. I don't know where that came from. Sorry about that. Any feedback or questions about tonight's topic?
Nope.
Wow, I must have done way too good a job. We're getting ready to do some real push on advertising the wraps and so on. So we want to have some FAQ and informational pieces out there for people. All right, well then let's open up the floor to questions in any other area. What's been coming up for people this week, or does people have questions on photopuncture or light therapy in general?
I have a question.
Sure.
My horse Rusty, he has that navicular in the left front, and it seemed like it's getting worse, and lights only do so much. He had that nerve block, but when I was out there yesterday, he's really going down on that shoulder, so I don't know what else to do for him.
What do you mean by he's going down on that shoulder?
Well, when he's walking, you can tell he's kind of leaning down, the step he takes. It's not the same as the right side. He just kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but just the way he's walking, it looks different than the front.
And what are
the right side.
What are the scans showing?
Oh, I tried to scan him, but he sweats when it's hot and humid, so it was just going crazy. So it did me no good.
Can you scan it at maybe like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning?
That would work out if I was living on the same property still. So
okay.
It's not working out yet.
All right.
Someday I'll be back with my babies, but
I guess I would suggest that since you can't, right? You can't scan right now. For those of you who don't know, Tammy, the speaker, lives in the Phoenix area, so it's monstrously hot, and the one time a year where it's so humid you wake up sweating. And I guess what I would suggest doing is using your lights specifically on the coronary band, okay, and going into the master points for neck, shoulders, and forelegs. And
well, that's what I did.
Okay.
What points did I use?
No, what points do you get reactions at?
I knew if I didn't write this down, I would forget because I didn't have my markers with me. I don't know. He was doing a lot of releasing and yawning, and he also had the pull cap on. And then I had the tendon wrap around near the coronary band, down there.
Uh-huh.
Well, first I started with the upper leg. The first 20 minutes, I put it on the upper leg as I am, doing lights on him. And I did his neck and shoulder and neck, shoulder. And I did his lung in the front and then the kidney 27. And anyway, so it started on the top of the leg, and then I put it on the bottom with him. He seemed a little bit more agitated, and then a lot of twitching in his muscles.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Well, remember with navicular, you've got long-term pain, right?
Right.
And so horses are really, really good at tuning out and disconnecting themselves from that pain, just like we are. But they're masters at it, right? So all of a sudden, you start doing something that's waking up the nerves, bringing in blood supply, and making it impossible to ignore. That can be distinctly uncomfortable. So,
well, I do him twice a week, though. So you think, that he wouldn't. Some days he's good, and other days he's not. So I don't know.
Well, just like the rest of us, who knows what he did on the 3 days in between? And it's a culmination of a lot of things with navicular. I mean, I'd be wanting to try to get his body as alkaline as possible. I don't know what you're using for any kind of pain relief. Make sure he's not on any alfalfa and so on. But then, just like if you've ever had your leg go to sleep, okay, and then you
Mhm.
stand up, and the blood supply and the nerve energy supply starts getting back to the leg. It first it feels like your leg is disconnected, and then it starts
Right.
hurting, right? Well, that can be
Mhm.
what happens as you start rebuilding the energetic connection into that foot. Okay, and of course,
Mhm.
navicular. Now he's diagnosed with navicular.
Yes.
Okay, he's
He had
had.
an X-ray done years ago.
All right, so we have very very uh, thin, uh, fragile uh, bones in the hoof, and that navicular
Right.
bone has
He
got.
also had a previous. We also had a previous broken coffin bone in the same foot.
Oh my. Okay,
We found
so
that. We found that at the same time.
we know that his bones are too porous. All right,
Mhm.
they're going to be overly sensitive. We're going to want to do whatever we can to build back the bone, which means lots of minerals, lots of keeping the diet very alkaline, and I would be very much focused on using your high powered diodes all the way around on all the ting points around the cornet band, okay, and
Mhm.
ending on like a minute each, at least 4 of those points on 7, really trying to deaden the pain.
Mhm.
And then use your master points for front feet, for the front hooves and legs, okay, and just try to support him that way. Pay
Okay.
attention when you get licking and chewing and releases specific, or if he bites at something or he swats at you at something. Take the time to either take a picture of that, write it down, take your little laminated chart out and document
Mhm.
where he reacted, because that is where your energy blockages need to really be focused on at first.
Right.
He's telling you
He
where to
was.
treat.
Yes. There is a on his left side, right above the pericardium one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I was out there a few days ago, it was wet, and then he kept biting at it, so I treated him for it, and it must still be bothering him because now the hair is starting to go away where he's biting at it.
Ooh.
So I don't know what's going on, but I do put the lights on it,
Oh, definitely you're
you
waking
know.
something dead up. Yeah. That
Okay.
means new tissue's coming in. It can get rid of the old hair and so on and start rebuilding stuff. That's interesting. Take pictures
Okay.
of that, Tammy. That'd be awesome.
Oh, okay. I will. Yeah, I was surprised that it still looks like he's fighting at it. In fact, when I was there a few days ago, he kept biting at it. I go, yes, I see it. I'm doing it.
I'm getting there. Really, I am.
I know. It's like I'm just not there. I'm up higher.
Right, right.
Now his diet to me is pretty much alkaline. He gets Bermuda hay. He is for his Dynamite product. He's on Dynamite Plus, Free and Easy, MSM, and then he's back on the Vivo, the light and is the other one clear? I just
Mm-hmm.
started him on that. And he gets cayenne pepper for the inflammation. I'm trying to think of the bottles I have, and I think that's it.
Okay. Has he got the
Oh,
free choice minerals there?
yes, but you know what? I have been putting those in too because he really doesn't do it freely. So yes, I have been putting in the 1 and 2 in his bags of goodies that
No.
I make for him.
No.
No,
No. Do
he
not add
doesn't.
them outside. He's going to be smarter than you are about knowing when to use 1 and when to use 2 to 1. Okay? And how much he needs. Okay? Do
Because he
not.
hasn't been do. Haven't been
That's fine. He can ignore
having to
them
fill
for
it
a
up.
year. I don't care if he ignores
Okay.
them, but they've got to be there if he needs them.
Yeah, they're still out. Yes,
Okay,
they're
okay.
still out.
Yeah, I would not. The
My
only thing I would
mirrors that.
add to the diet is like for 30 days, I'll add is mine till they really get an idea what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. All right.
and is mine is really really great for navicular horses. That's something you might want to do all
Oh,
the
okay.
time because it's a silica based supplement. So silica
Uh-huh.
is the building. That's where we start with the building blocks for collagen and so on.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what about taking him off the Dynamite Plus and doing the TNT? But it's always saying it's for performance horses, and he's not a performance horse.
It's pretty hot. It's pretty heavy fat and protein if you're not working it off of him. I'm not going to go for TNT unless it really muscle tests for that horse. The best one to ask is him.
Right.
Don't you hate that answer?
I haven't asked that question yet. Yeah, I was doing that yesterday when I was doing his bags with the MSM and the cayenne pepper.
Good girl. Okay. I'm glad to hear you're using it. I see we have someone new with us tonight, Betsy Hershey. Hi, Betsy. Feel free to join us if you have any questions or have some insights to share on what we're doing. Sandra, I know that you're out there. I see you've muted yourself, but, or did I? No. Didn't know if you had any other questions tonight. I do have Tammy had asked me to show her the reporting software after last week's call, and we both spaced it. Tammy, do you have a few minutes to go through it tonight? For the rest of you on the call, this is the software that we use for reporting the results of our photopuncture sessions, the energy points that we find with our scanner, and any the results of what we do. So let's see, find it here. Subscribers to the software end up at this page, okay, the Equine Energy Point Reporting Software. If you are a subscriber, this will be available. If you're not, it's grayed out. And this software does reside like out on the cloud, so you sometimes have to wait for it to load. It is set up via tabs along the top here, and we're basically setting up a report for today's session. So if we were working on a horse, it's going to preload today's date. If we want to put on, for our own notes and so on, if we want to put how much we charge for today's session, we can put that in. The horse. Okay. This is the age of the horse, not the age of the therapist. And you don't have to put any of this in, but you can put as much information as you want. If you're providing these back to owners and vets, it's a really good idea to be fairly detailed. And, maybe we got told that this horse has navicular. Has diagnosed navicular, an obvious drop of the shoulder on the left side. I'm paraphrasing what you said, just for the heck of it. So then we would go through, we would do our first evaluation of the horse before we treated. What do we see? How are they moving? Anything that we noted in the way of important, pertinent stuff that may affect ongoing things. That it may be they have old scar tissue, maybe their top line sucks, maybe we see that their legs rotate out. Whatever you find to be important, you can put that in here, and you can add all kinds of links. You can make it pretty if you want. I very rarely ever bother. Okay, and then once the session is done, we put in how did the horse respond? What points did they really react to? Were they still lame afterwards, or were they doing much better? What shifted? Were they sweating and it stopped? Were they agitated and they calmed down? Any of that. And then what is our suggested follow-up? I'd like to see the horse, 3 to 5 times in the next 3 weeks. So this is my suggestion. I would detox them. You can put all of that on your report here. If you've taken pictures of the horse, you've taken pictures of today's session, and sometimes we have a lot more than just acupuncture points that come up, so we might want to take a picture so that we see, what's obviously inflammation in an area. All I have to do is browse on my computer, find a picture. Okay, so maybe we'll go here, we'll pick out a horse. I'm just going to grab a horse picture, okay? And these don't have to be great pictures. You may, you're documenting them both for yourself, mostly for your own records and maybe the records of the client. It's going to resize the pictures automatically, but it's a good idea not to try to send too ginormous of a picture. Jump in with any questions if you have them, everybody. So now I have this picture, and if I want, I can say something about it. Okay? If, whatever I found on that side, or the horse reacted to this point, or whatever. And then, and you don't have to do these in any particular order. You can go to any tab at any time. But I can go through, and let's say I found some specific points when I scanned the horse. I found specific alert points out of balance on this horse. Okay? Let's say we found a small intestine, maybe we found some shoulder points. And, maybe we saw some toxicity, running down the leg. Maybe we found the neck out of place. This is all what we found on the left side of the horse. If I want to switch to the right, all I do is check this little flip to the right side, and it flips the picture for us. And I can pick a few points on this side. Maybe the points that I found, I need an up-close view. So here's an up-close of my front legs. And there's my pericardium 9. Okay, maybe I needed to get right in close there, or, my heart 6 and 7. Now, if I have selected a point on a picture here, and it is on another picture, I can go here and I can see all the same points that I found with the skeletal picture, I can find on my muscular picture. Or if it's from the, if I want to look at the points that I found on the rear end of the horse, some of the ones that I picked before are going to show up here as well. Okay? And that's really all there is to picking them up. Here it's showing us all the points that we've selected and what the Chinese medicine acupuncture indications are for that point. These are not a diagnosis. This is just these points often are associated with those issues. Okay? If I decide that one was a mistake, I really don't want bladder 38 on the left side, that was supposed to be on the right side, all I do is put a check mark there and it goes away. And then I can come over and say, no, it was really this bladder 38 on this side. And this little histogram over on the right tells us, wow, most of the points we're finding are on the bladder meridian. Or maybe, wow, I've got a significant number on the small intestine meridian. So that just gives us an overall picture. Okay. I believe that Kay Hud, I'm not sure what your name is. When you came on, we got the echo again. So if you have questions, oh, Karen Hudson, it's you. You changed your name, your email again. So if you have a question, type it in, and I will open it up to you. But your mic is really echoing on us. So now we have all the information in here to go create a report. We can come over here to report, the very first tab, and it's going to create this complete report of everything we did on this session, plus any pictures we uploaded, plus any, on these pictures, if we had written anything about the picture, that would be in this area here. So it would give us captions and information about each picture that we uploaded. All right, We can go back if we now want to go in and put more information in suggested follow-up or response to treatments, we can. And all of this information here, all of these indications, do not automatically go to your customer. Those are for your information. If you want them to be printed and go to your customer, you just go up here and say print the indications with the report. I often save it with the indications and then print it without. So I save a version of it for myself, and I may print it both with and without. And when I say print, what we're doing is we are printing to a PDF file, and that file can then be printed out, it can be emailed, it can be whatever. So I'm going to save this report, and that's going to save it in a list that we can go select from later. And then I'm going to print. And here, and it's not, it's not gorgeous and fancy, guys. It's just very straightforward information. Looks great on a cell phone, by the way. And I use a free product called Nitro PDF Creator. It's an absolute free PDF printer. And you print to it just like you would your regular printer. I just want one copy, and it's going to come up and ask me to name it. So I'm going to put test, test report for Bob, or whatever you want to name it. I usually save each report in the directory for that horse. I create a directory for all my clients and a subdirectory for each horse that they have. And there you go. Now I have a PDF, and it'll come up here in a second. I have a PDF report that I can then email to a client. I can save on my computer. I have it. But if I need to change it, I can go right back into the reporting software and change it. So here's my PDF report. My point indications, what we found, and unfortunately HTML does not have great page breaks, sorry. And all the images of what I found. Questions? Oh, Betsy had a question. She said, what's the name and cost of the software? It's the Equine Energy Point Therapy Reporting Software, and I believe it's $100 a year. Believe there's a free, you can do a free test drive for a week. It'll let you do everything but print, and that's, you can go to photopuncture.com and just click on the show me a free test drive, or you can order it from shop.photopuncture.com. But it doesn't have to be people doing photopuncture. As you can tell, it could be anybody who uses energy points and wants to record, document what they're doing. Any other questions? Tammy, did that answer your question for using the software?
Yeah, I think so. And once I purchase it, then I'm able to print.
Correct. Correct. And
yeah, that kind of threw me the first time I looked at it.
It's like, no, wait. But you know what? You're actually, everybody that was in the last class, I wanted you all to try using it and printing. So you actually have a live copy now. If you go in now, you should be able to print just fine.
Okay.
Kay, I missed the one webinar when you actually helped us determine, when we're looking at 2 shots of the leg, for example, how to be really sure whether it's pericardium or it's triple heater when they look so close to each other. That was the one I wasn't able to access.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah, that.
So we have to put in those points. We have to know what they are. We have to put that into the.
This is going to be your best guesstimate, honey. And as you've seen, everybody's charts are a hair different. But what I do is I come in, and let's say we're going to go into that point you keep finding. I'm going to look at the medial side of the legs. And let's say I want to look at the right legs instead of the left legs. I'll just flip that. And now I usually gauge it by, here is that big muscle that comes under the chest. Okay? So if I'm above that muscle, I'm usually looking at heart 3. If I'm below it, I'm looking usually at lung or pericardium. And which one is which? Boy, I muscle test for it. It's really hard to tell sometimes. But in general, okay, in general, because I don't always agree exactly with her charts. I mean,
Peggy Fleming.
Peggy Fleming's charts, the way it works is that the lungs are your most forward channel, right? You can pretty much see that. Your pericardium is your central channel, and your heart is your back channel down the leg. That little SI8 is a sneaky little point, since all of the rest of the small intestine meridian is running on the outside of the leg. That just dips in there behind the elbow. But the rest, that's the only small intestine you're going to see on the inside of the leg. The rest of it, you've got lung, pericardium, heart. And the heart is surrounded by the pericardium, which is surrounded by the lung. So you're going from most external to most internal, from the front to the back of the leg.
And where is the chestnut in relation to like PC pericardium 6?
Great question. Usually it's sitting. Usually it is sitting directly above it, like the. Hold on, let me clear this off.
PC6 is directly above the chestnut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, usually the chestnut would be right about there. But every horse is a little different, so don't get freaked out if PC6 or lung 6 or, I don't mean PC6. Lung 6. It's like sitting, PC6 is below and lung 6 is above. Sorry.
What? Say that again?
Lung 6 is above the chestnut, PC6 is below.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, boy. Oh, God only knows what I guessed. Well, I understand that they're all different. I mean, if you look at the veins in your arm next to the veins in someone else's arms, you can see it's maybe the same vein, but they run really differently.
Right. Some are closer to the surface, but
I'm just so disturbed by that one dot that Peggy Fleming did not label.
Oh, everybody's got a chart they don't label. I swear, I've got 20 different charts, and there's things missing from all of them. And the experts disagree. Okay, my greatest mentor, who was a human acupuncturist but treated all of us horses and people alike in the endurance races, he just said, quit worrying about what name it is. If it's out of balance, balance it. I was like, okay. So sometimes you have to just get out of your head, Sandra, get out of your way.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to change what I just said. I'm going to say I just lied. Okay. I'm going to clear that picture again. And I'm going to, oops, it didn't clear. I'm going to change my mind a little bit on what I was just saying.
Okay.
PC6, I lied. Chestnut's here.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I lied. I had I had myself all switched around, backwards in my head. I had to go look at my chart. See, so the PC6 is sitting right there. Okay.
Okay.
But that could be as high as this. That's what I was saying about, sometimes that chestnut's a little higher up off the knee. Not always, but sometimes.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions tonight?
Well, the link you sent me work. You may want to try it yourself, the Vivo.
It did not work?
Not working.
Hold on.
Could be me, though.
It's always
Some guy in China sent me a link to a horse sauna, and I can't open that one either. Hmm.
Well, isn't that interesting? Want to know a little bit? Nope, nope, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. Well, why did it do that? That's so interesting. Okay. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. For everybody else's edification, Sandra had a client that they want to know how to buy the Vivo Zeo Complete, and they want the direct. God forbid they go to the shopping cart and look up holistic supplements and then scroll down to the correct product. They want the direct link. So I was trying to make her a fast and dirty link tonight, and of course something wasn't happening. Something was unhappy. So we're going to come here and we're going to put this back in here.
Well, this is hilarious. The Chinese are trying to sell something, Shenzhen Anpen technology. It's called a horse sauna, and it looks like a full metal jacket with a heat pad. This is very interesting. It's actually an equine blanket. I don't know why they're calling it a horse sauna. Silver.
No, it's still doing it. Oh, it hasn't propagated yet. Hold on.
Oh, it's far infrared. Okay.
Oh. See, this is what happens when you ask me to multitask.
Well, you don't have to do it now. I'm going to sleep.
Okay, everybody, I will get this out to her, and I'll send it to anybody else that's coming up as well. Any other questions about stuff that's come up for people this week, or the reporting software and how to use it?
Nope.
All right, great, guys. Betsy, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. We'll talk to you all again next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Kay. I'm sending you a link. I want you to see this horse sauna. It's hilarious.
Okay. Sounds
Bye,
good.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.